welcome back to the Coffee with Content Creators podcast. My name is Rob Balasabas. I'm your host of this podcast. If we are just meeting for the first time, welcome to the podcast. Glad that you found us. Let me know how you found the podcast. If you're on Spotify, I believe you can comment on the podcast through Spotify now. So let me know if that's right. Let me know if you have that feature. If you can't, hit me up on a DM. Or even better, actually, head over to our Instagram broadcast channel. It's a great channel. It's just I started it a week ago, and we've already got some awesome members in here chiming in and sharing answers to different questions and things like that. So come on over and join over there, and would love to hear from you. Would love to hear where you're from and what you're working on. And today we've got a question that I wanted to answer. It's one of the questions that actually came up through the broadcast channel on Instagram. And the question is, I put up a question and said, hey, like, what are the top challenges that you're facing with your content business right now, or your content career? And one of our friends over here inside the channel said, what do I do when the brand wants me to talk about something that versus what I know, and I'm paraphrasing here, versus what I know the audience wants me to talk about. So essentially what to do when the brand wants you to talk about something in your content, in the brand's content channel, versus you being the content creator in the middle of everything, understanding, what the audience wants to hear and learn and watch and consume from your brand channel. When those two things are different, what do you do? I definitely have some thoughts on that, having worked within brands for quite some time now, on the marketing front, on the partnership front, sort of dipping over into content as well, in different times and seasons of my career. And so definitely want to answer that. And so let's jump into that. But first, let's thank our sponsors for this podcast. Before we talk about today's sponsors, I want to say sorry, because I think in the introduction there, in the the first couple of minutes of the episode, I was using my AirPods microphone. So my apologies for the audio. Hopefully this is a little bit better. But today I want to thank Streamyard and Opus Cliip for sponsoring this podcast. I love both of those tools. I know some of you guys also use them. I see you guys asking questions about those tools in my YouTube channel, and so love those tools. So say thank you to them. If you guys are not yet using StreamYard or Opus Cliip, and you're curious about how they work, head over to the show notes. There are links there to go check them out to get a free trial. Full disclosure, of course, they are affiliate links, so you'll be supporting the channel by using those links. So go check out StreamYard. Love StreamYard and Opus Cliip. They also have their own communities. StreamYard has a Facebook group that you can go check out, plug into, and Opus Cliip has a Discord server that you can plug into as well, where their team and other partners and ambassadors like myself are also hanging out. So make sure you head over there. And also, I want to say thank you to the folks that have joined into the Instagram broadcast channel and are starting to chime in. And I want to give a shout out to some of the folks here. I put up a question today because Instagram broadcast channels don't let you see who's in the group, which is really kind of odd. But anyways, I just asked a question like, hey, where are you guys based out of? What city are you guys based out of? So I saw some replies here. So Sasha is Orlando, Florida. We've got Mark Yates from London. We've got somebody from Virginia. We've got Eric from Jackson, California. Anita Wong. Hey, Anita, good to see you. From London. We've got Monica from Birmingham. We've got Owen Films from East Lansing, Michigan. We've got Derry from Albany, New York. Shauna, who's our friend, is in Vancouver. And you guys know I'm from Vancouver as well. So awesome to see some amazing folks here joining us in the Instagram broadcast channel. So like I said, head over there. Would love to have you join us and join the conversation. All right. So again, the question was, what do you do if you're working at a brand, within a brand, maybe you're even managing their content, and the brand wants you to create content about one particular or like a set of different topics, but you, from your perspective, know the audience, and you feel that the audience would actually rather see content about another set of topics. Okay, so what do you do? All right, so here's some thoughts, and I'm just gonna really just share thoughts, kind of open mic style here, just based on previous experience and just how things have gone, and best practices that I feel you should definitely take. All right, so because at the end of the day, you are on the same team, right? You're working with the brand, you're working at the brand. And so at the end of the day, you want that brand channel or channels to succeed, and you want it to grow, and you want it to get in front of your ICP, and you want it to get in front of your ideal, customers and prospects. And, you want to serve your customers just like your brand does, and that's why you're on the team. You're on mission together, right? And so, when this happens, there's a couple things. One, you want to gather data and insights. This is really helpful. This really is like really helpful for folks that maybe in, that are in upper management, leadership, C-suite. They just, really data really helps, right? And data is hard to argue with, right? And hard to debate, right? Hard data. So if you have, for example, let's just pretend this is on YouTube. You want to collect data, right? You want to look at case studies. You want to look at examples, right? Why your idea might be successful. You might want to highlight and look at, other brands, or whether it's in your niche or your industry, but maybe even other industries where they're doing something that you want to propose, right? On YouTube, for example, without getting too much into the weeds of it, sometimes, you either are you're talking about your product, or you may be talking about a topic that leads to your product, right? Depending on if you're looking to drive search traffic, get into the recommendation algorithm, all of those things, right? And so you want to collect data. Data is one way to approach this. Collecting data that can include questions, even in the comments, right? Can be data from your channel, could be also from your competitors' channels, right? Collecting data that way. If you show, hey, like these kind of videos do really well on our competitors' channels, look at the views, look at the comments, right? Look at the questions, right? All of those things, those directional data, not just like direct data, but directional data as well, can really help, right? You can, again, highlight audience preferences, right? The engagement that you're getting, trends, right? So trends could be, hey, these type of videos, these type of thumbnails, these types of topics do really well. These types of formats of content, hey, interview videos do really well, or roundup videos or tutorial videos, right, do really well. So you want to collect data, right? And you want to present that. You also want to present a really well structured presentation. You just want to make it really easy for people to digest what you are trying to put forward, right? And this is just like in any sort of situation, whether it's for this, where you're putting forward content ideas, or any other things that you're trying to pitch or propose to your team. Now, you also, just again from my personal experience, you want to be really mindful of your audience that you're pitching to, right? Your C-suite, your CEO, your CMO, your CFO, they probably care less about the granular details of what you are pitching, in terms of like, the specific types of keywords that you want to go after, or, they want to see the high level, right? People that are more along the same level of as you. So if you're an individual contributor pitching the idea to a fellow individual contributor, or maybe even a manager, they probably want a little bit more details of exactly what you're trying to do. They want some more details of like more examples, like specific examples and things like that, right? And so that's what they want, right? So just understanding the audience that you are pitching to and proposing to is really helpful. Okay. But present a really compelling argument there, right? Compare your idea with an alternative, with alternative content, showing potential outcomes for what could happen, right? For both, right? Hey, if we continue down this path where we are going to follow, what you want to publish versus, hey, like this new idea, this alternative idea of content path, here's what could happen, right? You want to align with your brand goals, right? You want to show like, hey, this type of content that I'm trying to pitch to you, by doing this, we're going to be able to achieve our brand goals, right? A company has goals. Every company has their own goals. So it can be the goals for your channel, for let's say YouTube or social media, or just content in general, but also the goal for the company. The company may want to grow, 10%, 20% this year. That means that they need to get, 20% growth of new leads or more brand awareness. And you wanna align your idea with those goals so that there is a tangible connection between what you are looking to do and achieve and the resources you're putting into what you are planning to do and pitching to do. And that is, you're able to attribute that to actual brand goals as well. Okay. You want to suggest a compromise, right? This could be sort of like, hey, you know what? It's like, I guess, like an analogy here is like, hey, you don't have to get married to this idea, but have coffee with this idea, right? So propose a test or a pilot of your content idea alongside the brand's preferences as well. So, hey, you don't have to change up everything. We don't have to turn everything upside down. We can keep doing what we are doing and really follow what the general leadership or the company or the brand's like ideas for content is. But hey, let's pilot this idea for a mini series. Or let's say, hey, maybe you're doing a bunch of tutorials and product videos. But hey, you know what? I think there's an opportunity where we interview a bunch of our partners or our customers, right? Or we do a documentary, a case study on one of our customers, and let's do a series on that, right? And let's do it for a series. Hey, we're going to do 5 of these videos, okay, as a pilot, as a test, right? And then you can compare. You can go back after, like, hey, after this, like, hey, this in the beginning, you also want to set a success metric. It's like, hey, you know what? If let's do this test, and let's say, by doing this test, we get in front of, 25% more new, viewers that we didn't have before. And, we get X amount of new leads, from these types of videos, right? Let's set some success metrics. So then by the end of the test, then you can say, hey, did we achieve those goals that we were wanting to achieve based on my hypothesis and my theory of why this would work, or did it not, right? And then you can make a decision. You have data, right? Going back to number 1. And you also want to circulate your idea, right? You want to circulate your idea, and you want to make sure that you are advocating for the idea, but also making sure that everybody's interest is being met, right? And one of the questions that I love to ask when I'm pitching a new idea to someone, whether it's like, hey, it's a CEO, somebody in C-suite, or one of a fellow manager, or somebody that is more of an individual contributor, is I usually ask, hey, I would love your feedback on this new initiative or this new idea that I'm looking to put forward. I'd love for you to look at it. I would love for you to ask me any questions. I want you to pick it apart, pick this idea apart. I would love for you to ask me any questions that you think I haven't thought of yet. And I would also love to know what you think I should look out for as we start testing this idea. So let's just say we move forward with testing this idea. What should I look out for? I'd love to look out for anything. What do you think I should look out for? I'd love to look out for you, and what questions or question marks or things that you'd like me to just watch out for. And that really shows that you're not just here for your own personal interest. You're here for the interest of the company, and you're also making sure that their input is valued, right? Even though it's a brand that you're working in or working for, that brand is comprised of people and individuals that have, their own ideas, their own goals, I always just ask that, like, hey, what can I look out for as we start testing this idea? I want to make sure that I'm watching out for it. There might be some blind sides here. What do you think that, that I have? What do you think I should look out for? And, it's a simple question, but it just really helps to align everyone that you're trying to get on board. And so hopefully that helps. Again, I love this question. So thank you so much for this question. I hope this was helpful. And if you guys have any other follow-up questions to this, please ask me in the comments, or even better, ask me in the Instagram broadcast channel. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me in this episode. God bless you guys. And I'll talk to you in the next one. All right. Take